Let's look at the settings real quick. Transitions.
Pause the cutie on the front. Waifu season.
The kid name is orally, I forget. Voice volume. Oh, are they gonna read? Okay, I thought I would have to read the whole thing, but I don't know. We'll see. Chapter 1, The End of Summer. Sunlight filtered through the eerie birch forest as the lush ferns grazed my boots. I momentarily shielded my eyes before I turned north, treading carefully. The muggy atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crispness of fall. Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple picking season was fast approaching for the town of Berry. I cheerfully stretched one arm towards the sky, inhaling deeply. Yep, I guess that's her name, Aurelie. And thus my weekly scouting for monsters, bandits, or anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over.
Right!
And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. I love how I just was reading regularly and then changed my voice. But anyway. I guess I always just wanted to say that out loud. Walking around alone does prompt you into monologuing just so you can hear your voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Berry though. How long is my training going to last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt can be pulled out.
Play Harvest Moon so bad.
I know. Oh, that's what I should play. That's what I should play, right? Okay. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt could be pulled out at a moment's notice. Humming, I decided to I don't know what that says. Meander? I'm gonna Google it. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say that says meander.
Yes.
Okay.
Meander.
Okay. Humming, I decided to meander back to the village by following the thin river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain here. Not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. There was always an inclination, and higher up, I can get a breathtaking panorama of Berry and its endless orchids. Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite, and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcomingly. I had to turn the lamp on because the TV is so bright. It's blinding me. I'm sitting in the dark. There you go. That's better. It was then I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near the riverbank, leaning against a birch tree. How's the music level? Is the music too low now? And my voice too high?
It's fine. No, everything is good.
Okay. Thin birch trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I did not recognize the stranger's attire. Hello, are you a traveler? His face came into view and I realized he was sleeping, but that's not what caught me off guard. He had beautiful protrusions resembling shell shards jutting out of his long hair, right where someone's ears should be, or was it a decoration covering his ears?
Beautiful man.
Yes, he's beautiful. I suddenly wanted to touch him, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. I suddenly wanted to touch him, but what? Like, how? Who just suddenly wants to touch someone?
I wanted to touch him.
Alright. Hold on. Trying to get my throat. That pizza.
Dude, imagine I said that about a girl, it'd be in jail.
Hey man, it's 2023. She could go to jail too if this is real. But she resisted. She didn't touch him, so. At first I was about to leave, but then I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance, I saw no bags, no possessions, or anything else on him. This place was too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he mugged? And if he had been in Barry previously, I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing, and I did not see any injuries that would suggest he was knocked unconscious. So, when I'm reading just, I guess her inner monologue, I'm just going to read in my regular voice, but when she's speaking with her name, I guess I'll talk with like a different voice. I guess that's kind of how it really is. Like, when you're thinking in your head, I don't think you really have like a voice and a tone. It's just like, yeah, tomorrow I got work, sucks.
I noticed that.
Well, I can't do the voice the whole time. I mean, I could, but nah. After some more feeble attempts to wake him, I decided to improvise. I did not want to leave him unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing down my bag, I went to work. The fire crackled merrily in the birch wood as I opened my cloth, which contained a lump of rye bread and hard cheese. These were emergency rations, lest I was unable to return to Berry. Mother and father were probably worried. Just as I was about to bite into the cheese, I saw movement and glanced up, eyeing the stirring stranger. Setting my food down, I cautiously shuffled over. I had previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bag as a substitute pillow. Though it was probably more lumpy than anything else, it was better than nothing. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I started rambling and watched him curiously as he opened his eyes. Whoa. In a split second, he shot up and then clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Whoa, take it easy. You just got up. He flinched from my skin contact and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. I didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered.
WTF was that WOA? That was so random.
Who are you? There was an uneasy edge in his voice, not quite one of panic, but more of anger. It was then I noticed his eyes were brilliant and amethyst. I suck at saying that word. Amethyst, purple hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. Orally, I found you in the woods outside of Barry.
No, not purple.
The surprise did not leave his eyes. They darted quickly into his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. The horror on his face was unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Oh my god. So I read like the synopsis or summary of what the game is about, and I just realized what he was just doing just now. Do you want me to tell you or no? I mean,
Yes.
So that is one of like the reason that made me actually get this game was because so apparently he's a dragon. So that and this girl's gonna help him go become a dragon again or something like that. I don't know, but that's why he's touching his face and his hair and stuff, because he's human. Yeah, no, I just realized that. I totally forgot until he said that. And I was like, why is he? Oh, for him to be freaking out for no reason like that. Sorry, I'm putting Vaseline on my crusty old lips since I gotta read.
Hez wondering why this petite girl is at the same level as him.
Oh. All right. Let's see. Did I say that already? The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you alright? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again, he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him in that way. Gave up that desire to help him. He still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at least. He actually did it.
The hell?
The hell? He clutched at his temples, his fingers grazing over the odd fixations in the place of his ears. He wobbled as he tried to stand, and I impatiently rushed to his side. Stop it! You obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What is going on? Who are you and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since asking who I was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed, and he simply grit his teeth in frustration. Ask if he's hungry or say nothing. What are we doing? Obviously, we should ask him if he's hungry. Okay. Ask if he's hungry. I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I did not consider myself intimidating, but it was possible he had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. I grabbed the cloth and genially offered him the rye bread and cheese. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. What is that? That? It's food. You chew it. I ripped off a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated, humming delightedly to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes.
I don't care.
I don't want it. It looks revolting. Sorry, my peasant food does not please my lord's taste. Ugh, his attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. He did just wake up from a foreign place. Are you nobility? He fell silent, and only the occasional cracker of the fire and the hooting of owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. Ah, there was that apple tart too. I'll save it for later. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that a stranger was examining my every movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I did not want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night.
Kind of intrusive. Is it just me?
Oh yeah, she's being really annoying. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Who are you again? Aurelie, I'm from the town of Berry. And you? Kerr. He reluctantly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lip curled, almost smirking knowingly. You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. You have unusual eyes and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I can find your story credible. He flexed his hand, scrutinizing his fingers carefully. I didn't come here willingly. Out of all the places, I don't see why he decided to drop me in this low-born, simplistic cur. He glared at me as if offended that I had addressed him directly. So, where are you from? I'm not particularly tied to any region. If it's not obvious already, I'm not one of you. He tapped his knee. I don't know what that word is. See, these things, they teach me words. See, video games teach me words. Petulant. Petulant.
Petulant.
Oh, petulant. That's not how you spell it. Petulantly. That's funny. I know that word, but I've never ever seen it spelled. Okay. He tapped his knee petulantly. Yeah, I know the word. I just never seen it spelled. Petulantly. Okay. I'm one of the dragons, an earth dragon. He stated it full of pride, with no ounce of humility. Dubiously, I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone-like juts for ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked under my stare, but quickly regained his dignity. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely.
She won't believe him.
So why would an earth dragon be here? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted it out angrily, then touched his unique ears for comfort. I sighed, then tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not exactly accepting this as feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either. You can't transform back? If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body? So weak. I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempt to stand again. It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was fervently discouraging his efforts. We've already established that you're unfamiliar with your form. Besides, it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. I'll find a walking stick for you, and we can return to Bury if you'd like. It feels wrong if I abandoned you in this state.
I don't need your help.
Are you saying I can't handle myself? I'm pointing it out. Realizing we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have an encounter turn sour so rapidly. An altar. I need to find an altar. You heavenkind worship us, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the dragonkind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I admit, I thought dragons were more divine and irreproachable. Kerr was definitely giving me a different impression. I barely knew anything about the dragonkind, though they focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. It was a plain statement, not as a suggestion nor a plea. Why an altar? They're all heavenkind made. How would it help you? He parried my questioning exasperately. It doesn't matter. Do you know where one is?
Yeah.
Yes. There's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. Relief washed over his face, and for once, his scowl vanished. Good. We should go there this instant. He obstinately tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gaped at me in disbelief, but my will was as stubborn as his. Morning. We will do this in the morning. Get some sleep and I'll find an ideal walking stick. I don't think you'll master bipedalism without some assistance, especially not in a day. And it'll be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So, just take it easy tonight. I'll even keep watch while you sleep. After my treatment, he fell silent and gave a reluctant nod, closing his eyes wearily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over that battle of pigheadedness. Oh man, all the words are like... My eyes are like, you need to go to sleep. Okay. As Kerr was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled a small blanket out of my bag. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, but it can cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so it was a passable pillow again and offered it to Kerr, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something comfortable or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back and getting to the altar will be more troublesome. You already slept on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it again. I laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working for Kerr. Disgruntled, he lay down on his side and experimented with a few positions before resting his head in satisfaction. At first he refused to use the blanket, but as the temperature dropped, he discreetly pulled it towards him when he thought I wouldn't notice. Probably to hide his expression, he rolled over so his back was to me and the campfire. I had the feeling the initial shock took a lot out of him, and I admittedly hadn't helped when he ruffled my feathers more than once. Now that he was sleeping though, any irritation I still felt dispersed along with the summer heat. I would need to be mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow, stay cool and collected as autumn. I poked the fire and stayed on my watch until exhaustion beguiled me into resting my eyes for just a few minutes. Oh, look how cute that is. That's so cute. Hey. Oh, please. I've had less sleep than you, and I'm already energized and ready to go. Pouting, I poked Kerr some more with the walking stick I had fashioned for him. It hadn't been easy to find a sturdy stick in a birch forest, but I had located a long one that would be suffice. Hold on real quick. Yeah. I want to turn the volume up of the, I don't know if I can, oh, here we go. The music volume. Okay. Okay. Exit. Are you sure you want to return to the main menu? Oh, no. Okay. Return. Okay. I had spent the morning carving off any bark and had even indented the top to make it easier to grip. Now it was my dragon prod. That scared me. Up! Arise, sacred dragon!
Whoa!
Cut that out. Kerr hastily shot up, throwing off my blanket in a feeble attempt to hide the fact that he had used it. I decided to counter his usual scowl with the perkiest, most cheerful grin I could muster.
Oops, sorry about that.
Good morning! My buoyancy was genuine, but for some reason it satisfied me to know that my vivaciousness irked him. I could use my sunny disposition to my advantage. It'd be better than snapping at him, at any rate. Stop poking me with that.
You're welcome.
It's your walking stick. Here, you're welcome. I turned it sideways and offered it to him. He warily gazed at it as if I was presenting a cobra instead, but carefully grasped it. Cautiously, he pressed the stick against the ground as he stood up. I remained close, lest he topple over like yesterday. His fingers drummed against the carved handle, and he looked at me quizzically. You spent time on this?
Right.
Well, I wanted to finish it off with a pretty flowing ribbon, but I had the feeling you wouldn't like it. Grumbling, Kerr took a step forward, leaning on his stick before hesitantly taking another. With each step, he regained some confidence, and as soon as he was walking in a straight line, albeit with an uneven gait. He could not exactly break into a run or even a brisk stride, but it was a huge improvement from last night. I estimated we would reach the cave leading to the altar by mid-afternoon. I quickly packed and followed him, since I had the feeling the only thing on his mind was that altar. It's this way. I pointed towards the gentle incline, and Kerr narrowed his eyes resentfully. Going downhill would probably be more difficult for him. As we headed towards our destination, I kept my distance at first, but I gradually drew towards Kerr, one hand extended in anticipation of a stumble. Kerr balked and increased the distance between us, determined to progress on his own. However, his pace was excruciatingly slow, and he was unwilling to start any small talk. As the slope gradually steepened, his footing became more unsteady, and I worryingly grabbed his arm for support.
Whoa!
What? He twirled around in surprise, and I actually did end up bracing him. Once he was stable again, I sighed. Look, I know you don't like me touching you, but if your priority is to get to that altar as soon as possible, I think you can swallow your dignity and accept my help. Besides, no one else is around to see.
I don't need your help.
You've done enough. I don't need any more of your help from you. I don't know why I read that so wrong. He shifted his weight and started using the stick to ward me away. I frowned disapprovingly. Hey, if you hit me with that thing, I'll confiscate it. Even I wouldn't do something like that. Gritting his teeth, he leaned heavily against one of the birch trees. When I get back, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Who? My master. His curt answer stalled the torrent of questions piling in my head. It would be poor of me to interrogate him while he was still obviously overwhelmed by the situation. Right now, the goal was more important.
Right.
Then let's get you to that cave. You believe me? Everything I told you? Maybe you're just a very convincing actor, but I think even an actor would drop this charade after a while. Just as I was about to reach for him again, a low grumble pierced the forest. I glanced at Kerr in amused bafflement. He averted his eyes, but I could tell he was embarrassed. You know, if you're hungry...
Shut up.
I'm not. Another complaint from his stomach. I think you'll be able to walk faster if you have something to eat. What do dragons eat anyway?
Annoying.
Meddling heavenkind. I rolled my eyes. Well, you have a heavenkind stomach now, and I doubt I'll agree with a diet like that. But it does make sense that you wouldn't want to try the bread or cheese. I doubt dragons thresh rye or run dairy farms. It was then that I remembered the apple tart. Even if Kerr found the pastry part detestable, the fruit would probably be familiar to him. I urged him to sit down. When he refused, I simply made myself comfortable on the ground first. Here, this is the closest thing I have to something found in nature. I could forage, but that would take even longer. What is that? It's a pastry. My dad owns a bakery. You probably wouldn't understand it. It's basically a treat with apple fillings, and I think some apricot jam. Thankfully, my dad preferred showing off the natural ingredients. As a result, the top of the tart had thin slices of appetizing fruit covered with lustrous yellow glaze. Kerr sniffed it warily. It must have been agreeable enough since he soon accepted the pastry. Aw, it's so cute. You're welcome. As soon as he started nibbling on it, he must have realized how famished he really was because he quickly devoured the entire tart. I watched as he coughed silently and wiped the crumbs off his mouth, but his expression was unreadable. So, how was it? Anything tastes fine when you're starving. Or you just inhaled it so fast you didn't actually taste it. Well, it should tide you over until we reach the altar. Kerr grabbed his stick and we resumed our trip. The extra sugar boost seemed to lift both the pace and his mood, although he stayed taciturn. As we continued through the forest, I stopped and groaned when I spotted some dark trees.
Oh no.
Those are... I don't know how to say that. This is a silent Y. Felbane. I would just say that's a silent Y. Felbane. Those are Felbane trees. Completely forgot. We should probably go around them. Felbane? He peered at the thick, gnarled trunk. What, scared of the bark? It'll be quicker if we continue in a straight line. No, it's not about the trees. It's what lies in them. They make perfect nests for avatarals.
The hell?
The hell are those? Those are giant bird things. I thought you would know them. I would if I understood your names. Why are you giving new names to everything anyway? We dragons were here first, and we've already established. I raised my hand to silence him, not wanting to make any unnecessary noise. He scowled, but a shrill cry startled both of us. Then what do you call that? Whoa. Usually food. Well, that'll be us now. Perched on one of the lower branches was a reptilian bird with scales running down its front. The rest of his body was covered in earth-toned feathers. Though probably no taller than 4 feet, an extremely wide wingspan and sharp talons made it a fearsome animal to encounter in the wild. Avatars raise young way into the fall, so the mothers would be extra territorial this time of the year. say aviateros. I feel like it should be aviateros. Like aviators. Aviateros. I'd say avi. Aviateros? Aviateros. I don't know. The bird ruffled its plume, making itself seem larger than it was, and prepared to launch itself at us. I immediately stepped in front of Kerr, gripping my sword as I took a defensive stance. With Kerr's condition, an instant retreat wouldn't work. I'd have to guard him. What are you... You're not planning to fight it, are you? Do we have a Look out! I shoved Kerr off balance. Thanks to my quick reflexes, we narrowly avoided a slash from the Evertero's talons. The wind whipped at my hair as debris flew upon us. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted forward, hoping to keep the Evertero's attention away from Kerr. As it dove towards me, I slashed upward. It veered away, dodging my counterattack. Kerr, I'll keep it busy while you get away. Are you stupid? I'm not leaving you behind. Kerr? I need you to take me to that altar. Maybe if you shouted the directions at me, I could get there alone. Yeah, this is very... Yeah, I love, like... I like watching Dula do visual novels.
Like a bedtime story.
I like to listen to him talk with a little bit of music in the background. This girl is really full of herself too. I'm kind of busy here. I can't get my bearings in the middle of a battle. My aggravation was the incentive I needed to keep the Evertero at bay. However, my training had never covered aerial attacks, and the bird's scaly front was like armor. Are you holding back? Well, it's just protecting its young. It's trying to kill you. You think I haven't noticed? Oh, for the wings. Clip them. It won't hurt it, but it will stop it from flying. Just clip the tips. I widened my stance as I prepared for another attack. At the last second, I leapt to the side, slicing at an angle. My sword beautifully sheared the Evertero's thick primary feathers. The monster swerved into the ground, its shoulder and head bearing the brunt of the crash. It let out a cry, and I felt a split second of guilt that vanished with a yelp as the bird tried to tear me down with its talons. Luckily, the Evertero was designed for swooping down at prey rather than running on the ground, so it could only hobble awkwardly. As it screeched and futilely spread its wings, I retreated, grateful that it was even slower than Kerr. I wove through the trees until it finally gave up chasing me. Then, sighing in relief, I looped back and returned to Kerr, who was also at a safe distance. Looks like it gave up, but what about its young? It'll be fine. The feathers will grow back and it can still hop back to its nest. Its babies won't need to eat as constantly at this stage anyway.
Thanks.
You sure know a lot about them. Thanks for the suggestion. He snorted indignantly. I already told you they're food. Of course I know about them. Soon the forest was quiet once again, with the only sounds of our footsteps and the tap of Kerr's walking stick breaking the silence. Surprisingly, he did not protest when I suggested a safer route, nor when I walked nearly shoulder to shoulder with him. I had the feeling that starting a regular conversation would push my luck, so I kept my mouth shut and instead hoped for no more setbacks. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very deep cave. You simply take a turn and the altar is right there. That's it? No complex mazes? No shiny sacred magic late with a guardian or anything? Hey, we did what we could. This is a modest altar. I took a deep breath and smiled reminiscently. I haven't been here in years. I think I came here before to make the occasional offering around harvest season. I gave Kerr a cheerful look, but he continued forward, ignoring my recollections. I shrugged and followed, quickly catching up to him. Kerr awkwardly knelt down before the altar, discarding the walking stick once he was comfortable. His eyes closed with a softened scowl, almost as if he was meditating. Suddenly, his mineral-like ears perked, and he stared directly at the statue. There was no change in the atmosphere, but I could tell Kerr was angry. His hand tightly gripped his knee. I know we're connected. I demand you remove this stupid curse. He felt silent, and I looked around in bemusement. He was talking to someone, but I could not hear the other half of the conversation. For some reason, that made me more attentive as I tried to piece everything together. You can't be serious. So I said a few things, but, huh? Yes, I've met one. That's how I found the altar in the first place. He whirled towards me and blinked in confusion, as if studying me for the first time. I stiffened, wondering why he was staring at me so intensely. Once he finally turned away, I relaxed, although I could not help feel anxious about the discussion. What about me? Weak, pathetic, gives strange names to animals, doesn't seem to know much about Ystera or how the world works. Is he referring to humankind in general or just me? What? I guess their food is half decent or something. What? No, you're not sending me on a pointless inspirational quest. I'm not a child. I can't even walk in this form. So your plan is... At that moment, a blinding light flashed from where Kerr was standing, and I flinched in shock. Whoa, Kerr! By the time I knelt down and worryingly grabbed his shoulder, the flash had already disappeared. In one smooth movement, Kerr removed my hand and stood up without the walking stick. His eyes still seemed focused beyond me, and he slowly nodded to himself. Did your powers return or something? He extended his palm and lurched towards the ground, slamming it against the hard stone. The entire cave shook. The tremor visibly and mentally shook me as well, and my heart pounded loudly. I felt so paralyzed that I couldn't even scheme. Once I found my balance, I looked bewilderedly at Kerr, who smugly flexed his unharmed fingers. I stared curiously at his cocksure expression. So, he barely glanced in my direction. It's not exactly what I wanted. However, a portion of my original powers and strength are back, along with my balance. I can actually be comfortable in this form now. He gave a dismissive kick to the walking stick, then promptly walked away from the altar. I mustered a small smile.
Right.
Well, that's promising at least. What will you do next? Do what he ordered me to do and become normal again.
I don't need your help.
I can handle this on my own. So you don't need to follow me. I had to, anyway. There was only one way out of that cave. But as soon as we were in the open air, Kerr took off running with a grace and speed I'm sure no real humankind could ever replicate. I blinked once, and sure enough, I was alone. I scratched the back of my head, still absorbing what just happened. You're welcome? Burying my head in my hands, I shook out my hair in frustration. Was I expecting something from this? Well, a thank you would have been nice. I tapped my sword hilt for assurance. It's what a knight does. They help the weak and demonstrate their generosity when it is needed. Well, Kerr's not weak anymore. He can definitely take care of himself now. I guess my duty is done.
Right.
Mission complete. Just some experience as a reward and this discarded walking stick. Deciding not to linger any longer, I started walking back towards Barry. My parents would certainly be worried by now. Chapter 2. Welcome back. I think I'm gonna stop now. My throat hurts from talking. Okay, L1 is back.
Right.
Oh. How do you get out? Oh, start. Okay. Save. Oh my god. You have to save, dude.
I'm actually dead tired too. I just got off my computer.
Are you sure you want to return to the main menu? Look how cute that is. Yes. Yay. So, how's the story so far? Are you invested? Do you want to see what happens or nah? I want to see who that character with the blue hair is. Must be a water dragon.
She was slightly annoying at first.
And she's definitely one of those people that thinks she's the main character of the story.
It's kinda cute in a way. I can't believe this is a game though.
Have you never heard of a visual novel?
You are actually just watching a webcomic. I have. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Like some of them, see how there's like a choice to say stuff? Some of them actually changes the outcome of the ending. And some of them don't. So. I think this one has 3 possible endings.
I feel like this one literally gave you 2 choices throughout the whole thing.
Well, I mean, it was only 1 chapter. I don't know how many chapters there are. And it was like 50 cents, dude. I bought the game for like 50 cents. Can't expect too much from it.
That's okay then. I'll probably stream this during the day. And if you want to watch it, you can watch it, and if not, you can see me whenever I'm live. I haven't finished like any games in so long. Like, I just start games and then just not finish them. It's hard.
always wanted to stream like a visual novel because I always wanted to stream visual novels because, you know, you have to read.
I have FF16 to beat and DMC3 to finish.
Having something to read just, you know, I don't know. I just like to talk and stuff when I'm doing the stream, and I hate when I don't have anything to say. But this is purely reading, so my throat's already hurting and I wasn't prepared for it. Gotta drink some tea or something before.
JRPGs are good to play. They have the long talking section, then a lot of playing.
Well,
as the character, then play an awesome game.
Well, I have a JRPG in my Christmas list that I really hope I get. Santa-san, onegaishimasu. Yeah, let me see. That game. Let me see real quick. That game came out when I was 9. I love that game. Dude, I played that before I played Final Fantasy X. That's insane.
You grew up with it, man. Wow, that's crazy.
I know, when it came out, when I saw that they were doing a remaster, I almost cried. This extras thing.
That sucks, man. There are games from when I was that age that I loved that just died with the consoles they came out on.
I guess it's about 6 chapters. Which, 6 chapters, maybe 4. And dyslexic. I wonder if that would be easier to read because So I'll just end the stream now. Thank you for staying and watching.